Hi guys! I feel like singing a Britney Spears song because, oops, I did it again. I practiced another faux stone. I said I was going to stay away from them for a while, but I just can't resist. And particularly as I just ordered these Scrummylicious cutters from Oh Joy Creations. So I have already practiced this particular stone, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So you will need some translucent clay. I'm just using Premo. Is this? Yeah, this is the white translucent. I've actually not seen the regular translucent for some time. Every time I've been to get some, although I do prefer the white translucent, that's all they've got. That's all they've had in Hobby Lobby anyway. So I'm wondering if they phased out the other one. Not sure. Anyway, translucent clay. And this, which is, what is this? Is it gold something? Where's the thing? Oh yeah, yellow gold glitter, again, Premo. Some pearl mica powder. And I'm going with my lovely Picasso alcohol inks once again. I absolutely love these. The colours are so gorgeous. Oh, by the way, I'm doing a red Regalite stone. I forgot to say that at the beginning. So I'm going to go with my Picasso alcohol inks again, and I'm going with Ruby, Rosehip, Poppy Red, and Sunset, which is more of an orangey colour. The others are a reddish colour. So that's those. I will leave a link. There is a link in my description to my Amazon storefront where you can buy all these kind of things. Not the clay, but you know, the other stuff that I use. You'll need a roller, a blade, a brush, some gold embossing powder. Again, that's going to be linked in my Amazon store. You'll need some jump rings as well. Again, I'll link those. And some distressing pen. Now, I've used the other ones before, the distressed embossing pens, but I found these ones, and you get a pack of 4 like this. And they're all different nib sizes, and I wanted a finer nib, and this are the Bio Ranger, and this actually comes with a finer nib, if I can find it. Which one is it? Not that one. This one, you can see it's got a finer nib to it. And like I say, there's 4 in a pack of different sizes. I'll just show you quickly the other one. That's a thicker nib, and I've not actually looked at the other 2 yet, but again, I'll link those. So you'll need one of those. When you're using cutters like this, with the smaller cutout pieces, for example, sometimes it's difficult to get the sandpaper in there. So I found these little files that you can get on Amazon as well. Again, I'll link them. And if you've got any just little bits of rough bits left, you can just very easily get that in there to sand away. And I found them really useful. So you might like to try those as well. And a block, acrylic block, and that's pretty much it. And obviously I'm going to resin the pieces afterwards as well, but I'm not going to show that on camera. But you can watch my tutorial where I do show you how to do that. Alright, so let's get our trans clay then, and I'm going to be using this whole block. Oh, actually, I just had a thought, guys. I experimented with this twice. The first time I used some black liquid clay in it, and the second time I didn't. I just stuck with some mica powder. So what I'm thinking I might do, so you can get to see the difference between the two, and there is a subtle difference. I'm going to split the block in half when it's formed, and I'm going to split the pile in half and put some in one half of this and some of this mica powder in the other half, and make 2 separate blocks, so then you can see the difference. And I'm quite interested to see the difference myself. Anyway, right, so I've got my block of trans. I'm going to cut it up. Now let me think how I want to do this. So I've got these 4 colours, but I do want to leave just a little bit. I'm not being overly precise. You can mix and match the colours, but I am just going to take half of one block, and I'm just going to leave that as trans. Okay. Then I'm going to add, let me just cut these into quarters so I can work it out better what I'm doing. Alright, so with 1/4 I'm going to add the ruby and mix it into the clay. In another quarter I'm going to add the rosehip and mix it into the clay, the poppy red and the sunset. But then what I want to do is, I'm just trying to think how to divide this up. I'm kind of changing things a little bit from when I actually practiced it. So, okay, so with this, I want more of the ruby red, so I'm going to get another quarter of this, the clay, and that's going to get chopped, and I'm going to add the ruby. The same with the rosehip, and then I'm just going to do less in the other two colours, if that makes sense. You'll see as we go along. Yeah, okay. So let's get. Oh, then we need the glitter gold, and I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of that into the mix as well. So just break a little bit less than one section of the clay. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. So let's just, no, we'll do that afterwards. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm trying to get organised and work things out here. Alright, so we've got all our colours. So I'm going to get my ruby red to start with, and one piece of the clay. Now again, you don't have to follow these exact measurements. You can put more of one colour in if you want to. This is just how I'm going to do it. I've got my ruby red, and I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops. I want it fairly dark in colour, and then I'm just going to spread that over and let this dry like so. So just put that to one side so it can dry, and I've got it on my finger. And then I'm going to chop this up. Nice angular pieces. Don't want anything too rounded in this. Some bigger pieces, some smaller pieces. And I always just roughly chop to start with, and then I can chop again after if I feel the need. And I'm going to get my ruby alcohol ink again, and I'm just going to put a few little drops on there like that, just to get it coated. Just give it a toss around so every piece is coated with that ink. And it's a little messy, and I really need to invest in some small tiles. I think I've literally got one left. I used to have quite a few, but they've either broken or got too scummy looking for me to use them anymore. So I've literally got one left, and I've left it upstairs, so derp. But just make sure every single bit of this clay is coated in the ink, and then just try and push it to one side so it dries quicker. Oh, I went out of shot there. I don't want anyone to get all upset because they couldn't quite see that I moved it over to this side. It's just here, and I'm just shuffling it around. Okay, so that's the first colour. I'm just going to leave it like that. I know it looks a mess. Actually, I'll just wipe a little bit away. But you need to let all this thoroughly dry. Now the next one then, I'm going to go with the rosehip this time. Again, just give it a quick roll. And I'm going to do the same thing, add my rosehip ink. If you don't have these inks, it's no biggie, just you know, any kind of red will work in this. Just different shades of red though, because that's kind of what the stone looks like. There's all different shades of red in it, so I'm just doing the same thing, covering that up with the ink, painting it on there, putting it to one side to dry. chopping this bit up. Wait, no, not that bit, this bit, the bigger bit. Again, same thing. Nice angular pieces, some bigger, some smaller. And I'm just going to move it up here though. I'm getting messy now and a bit squashed. Just 3 or 4 drops will do, just enough to cover those little shards of clay. So, like this. And I do really want to try and get every little bit of it coated if I can. Although it wouldn't be a major disaster if you didn't. Okay, so there's that piece. Next one, poppy red. I'm just going to put the lid on this one so I don't knock it over and spill it everywhere, which, trust me, I've done. The next piece, same thing, and I am really running out of space now. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6-ish drops. Try and get my brush a little bit clean. It's not overly important because they're all reds, but and now you can see this is still a red, but it's got a little bit more of an orange undertone to it, and that's fine. Just put it to one side to dry. And then a little piece of that, just chippy chop it up. Like so. A few drops of this in there just to coat it. Okay. Just leave it there to dry. Put my lids back on. Whoops. See, I just knocked it over. And then the last bit of clay that's going to have the ink in it. Try not to go out of shot, guys. And this is the more orangey colour. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to add a little bit less of that, I think. But again, it's all on you, how vibrant you want the colours to be. Brush it on. Let it dry. Chop the last little piece up. Add a couple of drops of the orange again. Give it a mix. Oops. Oh dear, this looks like a pile of mess right now. This is why I wish I had some smaller tiles and I could just move them out of the way, but oh well. Right, let me get another clean wet wipe because this looks terrible now. I'm just going to wipe some of this mess away. Right, so they're going to be left to dry. I've got my last little piece of trans that I'm not adding any colour. And again, just nice angular chops. And I'm leaving these a little bit bigger. So there's that. And then I'm going to get my little bit of gold glitter, and I'm going to chop this up really, 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 really fine. Whoops. Did I catch that? Yep. The stone that I'm trying to imitate, the red Regalite, which actually I think is some kind of jasper, to be fair, but that's just the name it's been given. It's got these like tiny, tiny little pieces of some silvery goldy looking, I don't even know what you'd call it, just little tiny, tiny pieces. So I'm trying to imitate that. So I'm chopping it up really fine. As fine as you can get it, actually. I'm not sure I'll need all of this, but we'll see. Maybe just a little bit more. And I don't think I am going to need all of that, guys. Now I've chopped it up, it looks like way too much. So I'm just going to remove a little bit. So it's waste not, want not. It's not been spoiled in any way. So it's fine. So roughly half of what I showed you. But again, it's on you. You can put more in if you want to. I'm happy with a slightly less amount. Alright, so that's all the chopping and the colours added. So I'm going to go and mix this up, each colour, when this is completely dried, and when I've done that I'll be back. Alright, so I've mixed in the individual colours into the translucent clay and just rolled them into individual logs, and it's literally just a case of chopping these up now as well. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, I don't want the pieces to be rounded, and I want to keep these quite chunky as well. So, like so, and it's no big deal because they're all going to get thrown together at some point, so I'm not being too careful about where I place them now. But again, chop up each log into angular and fairly chunky pieces, like so. And then, whoops, same with the next one. And the last one. So now we've got all our components chopped. Okay, so now it's just a case of adding the mica powder just to add. Oh, let me make sure that brush is clean before I go ahead and use it. It's probably still got alcohol ink all on it. I should get another one. Just give me a second, guys, while I get another brush. Okay. I'm not adding a lot of this. I'm just going to drop a little bit on each pile. So I'm not really adding this to give a particular shine to the piece, although obviously there is going to be a little bit of shine because of it, but it's more just to separate those individual little pieces so they don't all clump together. That's all. Just a bit more on that one and a bit more on there. I think that's good. Just give each pile a little tumble. I want to try and keep them a little bit separate at this point, because then I can decide whether I want to cut any more, and I think I'm happy with that pile, so that can stay as is. This one's also fine, so that can stay as is. Oops. I think I'm just going to chop a little bit more into this one. Not a great deal, just some of the pieces are a little too big for my taste. That can go back over there. Let's see about this pile. There's a few that look a little rounded, so again I'm just cutting into those a little bit. It's a little big. So these are all good now, and this is fine. This one's fine. I'm definitely liking the size of those. I really want that red, that darker red, to stand out, so I want the pieces to remain that big. And I think this is good, and that's all good. So, yep, just give it all a quick tumble, and then you're just gonna guys, what am I thinking? What did I do last time? Oh my gosh, I've suddenly had a serious brain fart. I didn't add any black liquid clay in the last batch that I did. Did I use gold? Oh my goodness, yes I did. I used gold, so I'm so sorry guys. Brain fart moment again. I used gold liquid clay. Derp, derp. So you are going to need some gold liquid clay. I don't know what I was thinking. Alright, when you've got your pile all mixed, tumbled together, I'm just going to take, it's not even half because I want to keep it mainly gold, but I'm just going to do a little pile with the black liquid clay, and I'm going to do this with the gold liquid clay, and it does just give it a little bit of a difference. Oh my goodness me. Have I missed anything else? I don't think I did. I don't think I added any gold leaf in this. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Anyway, add your liquid clay, whichever colour it is you're going to go with, gold or black. Or you could even use silver. I think, you know, some of these pieces have a little glimmer of silver in them as well. And just the usual thing, just tumble it all together. Give me that little piece of trans in that one. I want that in there. Oh dear. Right, stay there. And then we're just forming it into a block as usual. Trying to. Alright, so this is the block with the gold liquid clay. I can't believe I forgot that part. Or did I use translucent? No, I didn't, because I don't have any left. Gold it is, guys. It's probably going to look completely different to what I wanted now. Oh well, no, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Deb. Oh dear. Well, let's put it this way. There's no way I didn't add any liquid clay. You really need the liquid clay. So I'm pretty sure it was the gold. Oh dear, I'm making myself laugh here. Okay, so block number 1 then, and I've just got a little pile left over to show you with the black liquid clay. Just a little drizzle of that, we don't need a lot. And give this one a mix as well. I don't know why I've got the giggles. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't even know why I'm laughing. I think I'm just laughing at my own, like, mental decline. Oh, some days my brain is just so foggy. I don't know if any of you can relate to this. I'm sure there's plenty of people that can, especially those ladies of the menopause age. My brain's been foggy way before that happened though, so oh dear. Right, let me clean my hands because everything is sticking to me. Let's just wipe this up. Right. Give my hands a quick. Can you even believe how many wet wipes you go through when you're making this style of stone, the chippy choppy style? I get through so many wet wipes. Right, that's good enough. I know I've got black in my nails, but that's just the way it is. Okay, I'm going to try this down so my block doesn't slide all over the place. Right, let me get in position. Oh dear, I'm all discombobulated. Oh, I just knocked my microphone now. Oh my goodness me. Right, come on Deb, get a grip. Right, there's the block with the gold liquid clay. You probably all think I'm nuts now, sitting here laughing about nothing in particular. Oh dear. Anyway, first slice then. And that's what it's looking like. And you can see some of these little pieces here. These are the pieces that were translucent and just coated with the alcohol ink, and that's going to give it like a few little lines running through, and then you can see the pieces that were thoroughly mixed together. Right, and there's some of that there's a little bit of that gold cluster in that slice, but not that much. I mean, obviously it's going to vary depending on where you cut, because you have no control really how the pieces get mixed. There's a little bit more of that gold running through on this one. Let's have a look at the black. Again, just form this into a little block, and like I say, I didn't want to make too much of this one. I just know that in one of them I used the black, and it does give it a little bit of a different look, so I just wanted you to see. Okay, so there you go. I mean, it's the same except you've got some faint black veins running through it. I'm just going to cut another slice. Put those to one side, clean my hands again. Give them a dry. Alright, let's work with these two little pieces. I'm just going to make some earrings, I think. I'm just going to use these that I got from Oh Joy Creations. I will leave a link to her website. I just love her cutters. There's so many different cute designs to choose from. She also does silk screens and rollers, which I have a couple of those, and bless her, she's sending me another one which she thinks will arrive today, and it's just something that I asked her if she could do, and again she's been able to do it for me, bless her. So I do highly recommend her, and I'm just rolling this out as you can see. I'm just going to get my little sticks just to make sure they're a bit more level, and I'm hoping these are going to fit. Okay, yeah, good. Alright, so when you've rolled your pieces out, you're just going to need some rubbing alcohol. I always like to do this because I can just remove that excess residue from the liquid clay. That way I'm not sanding as much when they're baked. It's just so much better to clean them first, guys. Saves you a lot of work in the long run. Just another little wipe. Now, I'm convinced somebody's going to ask me how thick these are. I don't go into measurements too much, and so I don't actually know. But I find the one stick thick enough, particularly if you're going to add resin, because then obviously that adds to the thickness of the piece, and they are very durable at this thickness. I'm just not going to get a ruler and measure it, guys. If you want them thicker, make them thicker. It's all on you. Okay, so I'm just going to get my cutter and I'm going to pick a bit that I like. Oops. A good old press down and a little bit of a rock. And then this one. Let's try and get a little bit of everything in. Oops. Okay, so I've still got a few little pieces here that I can utilise. But this is the one with the black liquid clay, and obviously I'll show you them once they are baked. Okay, so that's those. So that's what that looks like. So I'm just going to bake those and turn them into earrings. I always give my pieces a little bit of a sand on the edges, but then I'm going to resin the front and the back of those. I'm just going to put this to one side, but I will utilise it. Okay, so that's that. Now, I'm going to try and not roll this out quite as much. I feel like I squashed, stretched it a little too much, but they'll still look nice. So I'm going to try not to roll this out quite as much. Let me clean this first. That's better. I prefer this one. I think I like it better with the gold, guys, to be honest. But again, I wanted to show you. But yes, I'm preferring this. Now, if I just stretch this out another way, the other way, I can actually get two of those. There's my sticks. I'm just going to double check that they are somewhat level. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to make a pair of earrings using this cutter. I absolutely love this cutter, and I already did a pair of earrings. They look so nice, in my opinion anyway. Let's cut those out. Boop. That's kind of cool. Getting a pair of earrings out of just one slice. And I am going to show you something else while I think about it, so bear with me if this video is a little longer than usual, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. There's a lot of people that actually prefer a longer video. There are some people that don't, but can't please all the people all the time. So yeah, I'm preferring the gold liquid clay, guys, but that's just my preference. But that's those, and again, they're going to get baked, sanded. Oh yeah, I just remembered something though. I'm going to change this up a little bit. Now these are just going to get a hole drilled in, and I'll add an earring wire to make those into little earrings. But for these ones, and I'm loving this way of doing it because it saves you drilling a hole afterwards, but I don't want to risk it on these ones because the tip is too thin. But what I'm going to do is just grab a couple of jump rings of the same size, one for each earring, and all I'm going to do, and you've got to be a bit gentle with this, it's not mega thick, the piece isn't mega thick, but try and get in the centre as much as you can and just gently cut a small slit, but it's got to be deep enough for your jump ring to be able to slot in there. And I just really like this, and it's a good idea to add some liquid clay, and I don't think I've got any trans left, but translucent would be preferable, so when it bakes, any spillage from that you won't see it. Oh, that's blue. Is this translucent? No, I don't think I have any, guys, so I'm going to just add a little bit of gold and hope I don't get it everywhere. I'm just going to pour a little bit out. I'm not very organised today, am I? I keep forgetting things. Okay, so I've just cut a little slit in there. Obviously you don't want to go down too deep that it comes to the bottom. You don't want to ruin the piece. I think I can probably open that up a little bit more. Just a fraction. So you make yourself a little pocket like this, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid clay for extra security. You don't need a lot. Take your jump ring, make sure you put it in with the closure face down so it goes inside the slot, the slit, so you're not going to actually see that, and then just gently press it back together. And then all you need to do is hang a hook from that, and that's it. I just really like that. I just like the look of it as well. It's not just that I find it easier, because sometimes I find that if my pieces are a little bit too thick, I have a heck of a time getting a jump ring through the hole. And yes, I could use a bigger jump ring, but then I feel like it spoils the look sometimes if it looks too big. So I really like this way of doing it. Just making sure that that seam is nicely closed up, and you've got the liquid clay in there as well, so that's going to be cool. So I'll just show you again. So you're just going to take your blade or your X-Acto knife and just gently make a little slit in there so you've got a little bit of an opening so your jump ring can go in. Don't worry about getting fingerprints on the piece at this point. You can always clean it off with some rubbing alcohol. Okay, add a little bit of liquid clay in there. Like I say, preferably translucent, but I have literally run out of the stuff. But so far so good. I haven't really got any anywhere that's noticeable. Put your jump ring in, close your side down so you don't see the join. Give it a gentle press. You can give it a little bit of a shape. And that's it. Okay, so that's those ready to go in the oven. Now I'm thinking, what do I want to do next? I'm not going to use that one. I don't like it. I feel bad, but I prefer the gold, so I'm still sure these will come out nice though. I mean, I already did make some and they did look pretty nice once they were baked, but I'm still leaning towards the gold. Okay, now the other thing I wanted to show you is, I know this isn't actually scrap, this is, but I am just going to use it to show you a quick, you've seen me do this before, let's just pretend this is leftover. So I'm just going to cut it into slithers like this. Now you can cut as many times as you want, or you can still keep it fairly, you know, with the pattern still fairly obvious, or you could just keep on cutting. I'm going to cut a little bit more. Like I said, this is what I do with the leftovers, with the scraps, and I didn't have that much, so I just pretended I did. And then, excuse me, I've got an itch. Oh, itchy nose. I'm just kind of piling it on top of itself like this. And then I'm going to just squash it into a little block. So this is just a good way of using up the scraps from the chopped clay. Give it a roll. Now you can keep on chopping if you want to. I'm not going to, but you could just go back through it again and, you know, form it back into another little block, and you can do that as many times as you want to. I'm just going to leave it as is. Just kind of squish it together a little bit. Give it another quick roll. I'm going to get my sticks, or you could put it through the pasta machine. It's all up to you. I just wanted to quickly show you a scrap piece as well, and it doesn't look like scrap when it's finished, which is the good thing. Okay, so there's that, and I think I'm just going to make another pair of these. I'm just going to roll it just a little bit more. Actually, I think I might use these ones instead. I've changed my mind. Just another Oh Joy Creations cutter. This shape, which is kind of cool. And it actually comes with the extra little bit if you wanted to do like a dangle earring. I'm not going to, I'm just going to use it as is. I'm just going to make sure this is level-ish. And cut this out. And cut this one out as well. Now this is going to be earrings, so you need to flip one of them over. I don't know whether she did the mirror image of this, I can't remember, but you would have to go and look in her shop. I just ordered the one, so I don't quite remember. But I'm just going to flip it over, so it's like that. And then just give it a little bit of a smooth to make it look as beveled as the other one. And what I do as well, if I want to get a more beveled look once they're baked, is just to sand a little bit, just to, you know. But that's good enough for me, guys. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm going to put a slit in each one, drop a jump ring in, bake them, sand the edges, resin them, and I'll be back to show you the finished products plus a few others that I made as well. Alright guys, so just quickly show you, this is what they look like pre-bake. Three different ways: scrap, with liquid gold clay, and black liquid clay for this one. Alright guys, I've been rambling on for way too long today, so I'm going to go and bake these and I'll be back. Guys, I really don't know where my head is at today. I said that I was going to come back and show you the finished pieces. No, there's another step to go. So yeah, you're going to need the embossing powder at this point, and then I'll resin them. But they have been baked and I have sanded them around the edges to smooth them off, and a little bit on the back as well, just on a 400 grit. And like I said, you could use these little files that I showed you at the beginning. If there's any like little tiny rough areas, hard to reach areas, just give it a quick. I mean, these are fine, it doesn't really need it, but I'm just showing you, and they're just really good for the hard to reach areas. Okay, so they're ready to go for the next stage, not the final stage. And like I say, you're going to need the embossing powder and one of those pens that I showed you at the beginning, the one with the finer nib. Now what I want to do is, let me just bring my picture up so I can get a bit of a visual before I do this. These faux regalite stones, or even, well, it's jasper, but they call it red regalite. And a lot of these stones have like a webbing almost, a vein, web-like vein on the surface of the piece. So that's why I'm going to use this. And you're not going to be able to see too much because this ink is clear. But once I put the embossing powder on, you'll be able to see. So I'm just going to start drawing, and I don't want to cover the whole piece in it. I just want little areas of this vein. So I'm just drawing almost like little squiggly lines. Some places a little bit thicker. It's difficult to describe, but that's really all I'm doing. And once the embossing powder is on, you'll be able to see better, but I'm just doing squigglies just to get some little bits of vein on there. And like I say, I don't want to cover the whole piece with that, just little areas here and there. And I'm just going to bring a little bit up here as well. And I'm sorry you can't see, I'm having a hard time seeing it myself because it is clear ink that these pens are. So I'm just kind of hoping for the best really. So I've done that. Let's move those out of the way. And I'm going to just get my embossing powder and liberally just throw it over those areas that I put the ink, the embossing ink, and then you just literally tap it off. I'm just going to blow it just to get some excess away. So that's what it looks like before I've put the heat gun on it. So I'll do that, and then I'll do the other earring, but I'm going to do the rest off camera because I don't want to do all those pieces. Alright, it's the same thing. I'm just going to draw some squigglies on here. Making some of those lines a little bit thicker than others. And it's just to add a little extra something to the piece. Now go as crazy as you want with this step, guys, it's up to you. I'm just doing it minimally. Again, tap the embossing powder on there. Give it a good tap and then a blow. Just to get the excess. So there's that one, but you'll see better once I've got the heat gun on it. So I'm going to do the rest on the all those other pieces, those other earrings that I did but I'll do those off camera. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Always do it on paper so you can tip the excess embossing powder back into your little jar there. So, I don't think this is going to reach, guys. Hang on. I don't think it's going to reach. I'll try, but I don't think it's going to reach. But I'm literally just getting my heat gun. Hubby moved my electric thingy. So I'll try and do it, but it's barely reaching. But you're just going to go over that embossing powder with the heat gun until it does its melty thing. I need to reposition my sockets, but it's starting to go now. And that's it. Doesn't take that long. So that's the first earring, and that's what it looks like. So you've got that almost web-like vein on there. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the same on that earring. I'll do the same on these two and also these two, and then I will be back with the finished pieces. Alright guys, I'm back and they're done. This is the first pair of earrings. I haven't resined these on the back yet, but I'm being lazy, but I will. But there's the first pair. Resined on the front, just added those jump rings that were already in there, and I've just added the hooks on those. So that's the first pair. Pretty nice. Okay, that's that pair, and then obviously I did this pair with the black liquid clay. I actually really like them, to be honest. But they're the ones with the black, and again I just drilled a hole with my little drill like this. You just drill a hole through, boop 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 boop, add a jump ring, and then I added these earring hooks to those. So there's those, and these are the other earrings that I did where I used my scrap. I have resin the back of these ones, by the way. That's what they look like, just the same as the front. They're the ones that I did more of a chop to them. They're still pretty nice though. And I just want to quickly show you some other ones that I made. Here's some other ones that I made, and I actually did silver embossing powder on these ones instead of the gold. So you can take your pick which ones you prefer. And you know what guys, looking at these, I think I actually used silver liquid clay, but there isn't that much of a difference. So either or, it really doesn't matter. They look equally nice whichever way you do it. But like I say, silver embossing powder on those ones. And then this is another pair that I did from my scrap, from a different batch, not the same batch as today. And I did extra chippy choppy on it, and then again some silver embossing powder and these little pinch bails with a hook, earring hook, and they've got these little gemstones in them. Everything's listed in my Amazon storefront, so don't forget to go and look there. I'm on a bit of an earring binge. I don't often make earrings, but there's another pair that I did. Again, these ones were done with the black liquid clay, but again I did them with the silver embossing powder. And then here's one that I did without any embossing powder on at all, using silver liquid clay, and I haven't finished it, but that's going to be a pendant. Oh my gosh, how many pieces of these have I made? And here's another one that I did from the batch from today, and again I've resined it. I haven't done the back yet, with the gold embossing powder. So let's have a quick look at the translucency. It's pretty nice. There's that. This one looks kind of cool. I already looked at these ones and I kind of like And I'm loving Premo's white translucent. Can you see how clear it is and how white it is? I'm hoping that they phased out the other stuff and that's all they're going to sell, but we'll see. Alright guys, so I'm pretty sure this is quite a long video today, but look at all those gorgeous blingy pieces. I hope you have fun making it. Give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. Thanks all for watching guys, and I'll catch you later. Bye.